We're good. Hi, my name is Dustin. I've been doing mindfulness and meditation practices for well over 10 years now. Recently, just over the past year, I've gotten into forest bathing, or Shinrin-Yoku, which is a Japanese art of just opening your senses while you're out in nature. And I'd want to take you through a little walk here and see if I can teach you how to do it. So come along with me. Let's start walking. Honestly, the biggest thing that you can do when you're out in nature is just be open to your senses. Like, what's happening around you, what are you hearing, what are you smelling? The more you can listen into what you're feeling, the better. It's really about senses. That's the best way I can say it. One of the things you'll hear all the time in the forest bathing guides is notice what you're noticing. So when something pops up into your attention, follow it. On that note, as we were walking through these trees, I just instantly noticed like the texture and how thick some of this bark was. And since I noticed that, I wanted to come over and touch it. What does that feel like? What does it sound like? You know, is it damp from the dew, or is it dry? This is actually pretty dry. Surprising, because everything else is very dewy. It was rainy this morning, but this tree kept this bark dry. And it makes a nice fun sound as you like drag your hand over it. So it's just see if there's any little pieces that want to come off. There's not. And then when you feel like you're done, keep going. These are really interesting formations on these trees. They're like bubbly and bobbly and moving all around. Another way to think of it is kind of like be a kid again. Like, you're running through the forest, you're feeling things, you're climbing things. Like, it's not that serious. Like, don't take it too seriously. Just have fun. Right as I walked past this little waterfall, for lack of a better word, I noticed how loud it was, and I just wanted to stop and just listen to it. I just love the sound of running water, and that is a very strong sound of running water. And then I got lost in looking at the way that the water is falling over the rocks and the trees and stuff like that. It's just looking at it. cold the metal is. We're at the end of summer and now everything's kind of cold. The moment I touch this, it's all wet. That was a fun sensation. Also the different quality of the water. So over there it was more like roaring, this like roaring waterfall, where this is like a little more bubbly and playful. One way to think of a nature walk or forest bathing is almost like walking through rooms. You'll notice like this, the lighting changes, the sound changes, and every time something like that changes, it's almost feeling like you're walking into a whole new room of the forest. And there's different qualities of different trees and different sensations, different smells. And anytime that happens, stop and notice. You're like, this place feels different. And why? These leaves just caught my attention while I was walking past them. They've got a bit of a fun texture to them. Let's see if you can see it. It's nice and smooth on this one side, and that feels fun to touch. But the other side is a little more rough. And some of them were wet, and that's what the other thing I was looking at was some of the water on it. This one that I picked doesn't have that, but there's lots of smells right now with fall starting. There's leaves falling on the ground. Everything's a little wet. You're getting that damp, I don't know, decaying smell of leaves, which is really, it's just, I don't know, it's really pleasing. But different seasons are going to have different smells, and different places in the forest are going to have different smells. If there was more pine trees here, it would smell very different. If you get really brave, you can try tasting it too. But be careful, like that's more looking for berries or anything like that. You got to do some research into like the area, what's actually edible around you. I am not a forager, so I'm not going to tell you what you should and shouldn't eat out in your forest. But I mean, one of my general rules of thumb is if it's down close enough for deer to eat, it's probably not good, because deer around here eat everything. So down here, this is, flowers have turned into a more dry, fun texture. But there's still some beautiful color there too. Not really making any sound. I was trying to see if it would scrape there. Not much sound there. Oh! Mushrooms. They always make a fun little thing to bounce. Definitely don't eat any wild mushrooms you find out in the forest. Just feel everything that you can. How different is this grass feel to like these little the little seed ends. Almost looks like wheat, but I know that it's just a type of grass. Oh, that one does have some good sound to it. So I'm just rolling them through my fingers, but like some little popply and cracks in there. And then they kind of fall apart. Like here, I don't know if you noticed it, we pulled away from the creek a little bit. These trees enclosed us as we walked through. The sound is completely different here than just when we were over there. Like there's so much less creek noise. It sounds a little quieter, a little more enclosed. And that's where it just felt instantly like, oh, I walked into a new space. These are a new plant that we haven't noticed while we were walking all around here, and they're popping up all in this really shady area. And I can tell they're at the end of their life, like they're starting to dry out and die off, but like, why do they grow here instead of where we were at earlier? I don't know, but it's cool. This rotten log looks like a cool texture to touch. I'm sure it's going to flake all apart the moment I do it. Yep. And it also makes a pretty good noise. Let's see if I can recreate it for you. And then it just crumbles apart. It's like so wet. There's this red leaf here. I don't know. Nobody else has changed colors, but this one has. Oh, and it has a fun sound too. Keep it close. Another one of the favorite things as far as like touch sensations go in forest, looking for little mossy trees. It's so soft and spongy and and then we're getting up into lichen. So this is moss, but this right here is lichen. Like that's going to be way harder, not near as soft. They're both little organisms growing on trees. Part of forest bathing sometimes is a meditation. Let's go walk over here and sit on these logs and do a quick little meditation. We'll walk through all of our senses. Now once you've found a nice place to sit in the forest, just kind of get comfortable, get in touch with your breath. Just take a couple of big, deep breaths in through the nose, and a deep breath out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just getting in touch with the sounds and the quality of where you're sitting with the forest, not thinking too much, kind of quieting that mind that's going to be trying to jump to the next thing to think about. Because we're just here to experience the forest. Now I want you to close your eyes while you're out doing this, because we get really, I forgot how I said that. We over-rely, I can't remember the terms. Anyway. We over-rely on our eyes way too much as humans. Like, they are our primary source, or primary sense that we use the absolute most. And we start categorizing things as objects and putting them into boxes really, really quick. And so we're going to close our eyes and start digging through a couple of the other senses. Right as you close your eyes, kind of feel like, can you feel the wind blowing across you? Like, it's a little chilly out here, it's a little damp. There was recent rain, and so I can instantly feel the cold kind of breeze coming across my face. This log is a little wet, and so I can feel that dampness kind of coming up from underneath where I'm sitting. What am I feeling? And just sit with that for a little bit. And then, after we've kind of chased the feeling of the wind across our skin, or whatever moisture might be in the air, let's focus in on what we're hearing. I can hear the stream behind me, kind of off there in the distance. Some of the trees have water drops dropping down them. I can hear those slight little pitter-patter hitting leaves. And just notice what sounds are coming in and what sounds are going out. Not getting too attached to one or the other. Another game to play is you can kind of cup your ears and see how that changes the quality of the sound around us. I'll come and show the microphone really quick, but yeah, you're just cupping your ears and you can see really quick how, like, when I do this to the microphone, it changes the quality just a little bit. And then move your head around and see how the different sounds come in different to your ears, even while you're sitting still. Now I'll have our cameraman kind of spin the camera around to give the microphone kind of the same vibe of, like, moving your head around and seeing the different quality. And then one more audio thing to play with is, what's the furthest away thing that you can hear? If you really open your ears, what is that farthest sound? Is it some chirping birds way, way off in the distance? Is it the stream? Can you not hear anything past that stream? Or maybe it's an airplane flying through the sky. Just going as far as you can with your sense of sound and see if you can judge the distance. And then to contrast that, what's the closest thing you can hear? Is it the water pittering on this tree right next to you? Or did you shift and move and your foot kick the dirt? And then once we feel really good and in tune with the sound, try and open up our other senses. I know it's hard to do with video, but if you're out doing this yourself, what do you smell? Well, there's a croak. That's what that sound was. What do you smell? Do you smell the earth? Do you smell the water? Move your nose around through the air to see if you can catch different scents. Use your fingers to touch what you're sitting on without looking at it. How does it feel? Maybe even get really brave and touch the ground. Pick up a rock or a stick that might be next to you. And without looking, without using your eyes, just what does it feel like? And then also, what does it smell like? And where do those sensations take you? This stick that I found, I'm guessing it's a stick, it smells a lot like dirt because it was sitting with dirt, but instantly took me back to picking potatoes. I'm from Idaho, so take that for what it is, but it smelled of that same dirt that you smell when you pick up a potato. It's covered in dirt. And one last, then from there you can get really, really crazy. Like, can you taste the air? You kind of make a straw shape with your mouth and suck in air, trying to pass as much of that air over your tongue as possible. Can you pick up any tastes on that air? Maybe, maybe not, but it's worth trying. Now that we've kind of gone through all of the senses and it's time to open our eyes again, let's take a couple of deep breaths. And we're going to open our eyes, but this time just try not to put a label on anything or put anything that you see in the box, and just look at the colors, look at the shapes that the things make. Maybe look up, and what does the shape of the trees cutting the sky look like? Are colors more vibrant? How do different trees look different with growing in different places? Just looking around. And that's a forest bathing meditation. That's all there is to it. You're really just opening up your senses taking in what's around you. Notice what you're noticing is the other thing to take away. Like, see where your senses take you, touch, feel, smell, experience the forest, and be a kid again. And that's what I like most about this, and hopefully this helps.